When 16-year-old Max Verstappen signed with Red Bull to join Toro Rosso, the F1 world erupted in controversy. Too young, they cried. But Verstappen silenced his critics, becoming one of the most dominant drivers in F1 history. Fast forward to today, and history seems to be repeating itself. Mercedes has just shocked the racing world by signing 18-year-old Kimi Antonelli to replace the legendary Lewis Hamilton. But this time, there's no outcry. In fact, many are already hailing Antonelli as the next Verstappen. You see, hyping a new driver is nothing new in Formula One. Drivers like Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, etc. all had that exceptional hype associated with them as they made their way through the feeder series. However, the hype surrounding Andrea Kimi Antonelli is going through the roof. But is Antonelli truly the real deal? Or will this turn out to be a case of a young prodigy who was overhyped and never delivered on the biggest stage? Let's find out. Born in Bologna, Italy, Antonelli's journey to the top of motorsport began like many others, behind the wheel of a go-kart. But from the very start, it was clear that this was no ordinary driver. At the age of 7, Antonelli first gripped a steering wheel. 2 years later, he was already turning heads. 9-year-old Antonelli started from the 11th row of the grid at the Easy Kart International Grand Final. There were more than 20 seasoned racers ahead of him. The odds were stacked against him. However, what happened next left everyone watching stunned. Young Antonelli moved effortlessly through the field, claiming an improbable victory. As Antonelli progressed through the karting ranks, his talent continued to shine. The WSK Series, a series that played a massive role in the karting careers of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, became his playground. In 2018, at just 12 years old, Antonelli clinched the WSK Champions Cup 60 Mini and the ROK Cup International Final. But it was 2019 that truly announced his arrival on the global stage. That year, Antonelli dominated the WSK Supermaster Series and the WSK Euro Series. He even placed 5th in his appearance at the FIA World Championships, a remarkable achievement for such a young driver. His trophy cabinet continued to fill with podium finishes in the FIA European Championship and the Italian Championship, along with back-to-back victories in the WSK Open Cup and the WSK Final Cup. It was this string of successes that caught the attention of one of the most influential figures in Formula One, Toto Wolff. The Mercedes team principal, known for his keen eye for talent, saw something special in the young Italian. In a move that would prove pivotal for both Antonelli and Mercedes, the youngster was signed to the Mercedes Junior Academy. With the backing of a Formula One constructor, Antonelli's development accelerated. His final year in karting 2020 was marked by even more success, including wins in the WSK Euro Series and the FIA European Championship. But bigger challenges lay ahead as Antonelli moved into Formula racing. Before we go into details about Antonelli's Formula racing career, let's take a quick pit stop. If you're enjoying this journey through F1's next big thing, why not join our grid of subscribers? Hit that subscribe button now. Trust me, your YouTube feed will thank you. Now, where were we? Yes, Antonelli was about to make the leap to Formula cars. At 15 years old, an age when most teenagers are worrying about high school exams, Antonelli made the leap to Formula cars. His first full season in Italian F4 in 2022 started with some hiccups. Gearbox issues and contact in the opening weekend threatened to derail his campaign before it had truly begun. However, what happened next was nothing short of remarkable. Antonelli won 13 of the remaining 17 races, showcasing not just raw speed, but an ability to overcome adversity, a crucial trait for any aspiring F1 driver. Alongside his Italian F4 campaign, he dominated the German F4 Championship, taking 7 consecutive pole positions and 7 victories from the opening 8 races. Despite missing 3 rounds, he clinched the championship by a whopping 47 points. The next rung on the motorsport ladder was Formula Regional, and Antonelli took to it like a duck to water. In 2023, he claimed victory in both the Formula Regional Middle East Championship and the European Championship. It was at this point that Mercedes made a decision that raised eyebrows across the paddock. They opted to put Antonelli straight into Formula 2, bypassing Formula 3 entirely. This accelerated progression drew comparisons to another young driver who had taken F1 by storm, Max Verstappen. The Dutchman had gone from karting to F1 in just 15 months, becoming the youngest driver to ever start a Grand Prix at 17. Now, Antonelli was on a similar fast track. Antonelli's jump to Formula 2 in 2024 coincided with the introduction of new regulations and a new car. This leveled the playing field somewhat, as all drivers, rookies and veterans alike, had to adapt to the new machinery. It was the perfect opportunity for a talent like Antonelli to shine. However, the start of his F2 campaign was not the fairy tale some had expected. Driving for the usually dominant Prema team, Antonelli and his teammate Oliver Bearman found themselves on the back foot. The Italian managed just a single point in the opening round in Bahrain, finishing 10th in the feature race. However, true champions are defined by how they respond to adversity, and Antonelli's response was emphatic. His results began to improve steadily. 6th place finishes in both races at Jeddah, followed by a strong 4th place in the feature race at Albert Park. He matched this result in his home race at Imola and again in the Monaco sprint race. As Antonelli's performances improved, so did the speculation about his future. The FIA had recently updated its regulations, potentially allowing drivers to receive their super license before turning 18 if they demonstrated outstanding ability and maturity in single-seater Formula car competition. This opened the door for Antonelli to potentially make his F1 debut even earlier than expected. However, a couple of pointless races in Spain and Austria led to questions about whether Antonelli had been promoted too quickly. Just when the doubters were beginning to raise their voices, Antonelli silenced them in spectacular fashion. At a rain-soaked Silverstone, he took his maiden F2 win in the sprint race, finishing nearly 9 seconds clear of his nearest rival in a 21-lap race. It was a performance that showcased not just his raw speed, but his ability to master challenging conditions, a hallmark of great F1 drivers. Antonelli followed this up with another victory in the Hungarian feature race, demonstrating his tactical acumen by managing his tyres brilliantly and making decisive overtakes when it mattered most. These performances were enough to convince Toto Wolff that Antonelli was ready for the big time. The announcement that many had been anticipating finally came. Kimi Antonelli would make his Formula 1 debut with Mercedes in 2025, replacing the departing Lewis Hamilton. And since then, there have been talks about Antonelli being the next Max Verstappen and taking the F1 world by storm. So, is Kimi Antonelli overhyped? The evidence suggests not. His achievements in junior categories are remarkable, and his performances in F1 testing have been described as metronomic by Mercedes technical director James Allison. According to Allison, Kimi has not been in an F1 car until recently, but made it look like he'd been in one for ages within a lap or two. The feedback from Mercedes has been nothing short of glowing. They've been impressed by his speed, consistency, and overall approach. And his qualities speaks volumes of what to expect when he finally joins the F1 grid. One of Antonelli's standout qualities is his ability to handle pressure like a seasoned pro. People in the racing paddock often talk about his unusual calmness for someone so young. This cool-headed approach was on full display during the last lap of his Freca season. With the team championship on the line, Antonelli made a calculated overtake that clinched the title for Prema. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement about his ability to perform when it matters most. In the fast-paced world of Formula 1, being calm and adaptable are crucial. Cars change, tracks change, and conditions change, often in the blink of an eye. Antonelli's ability to stay calm and adjust quickly puts him in good stead for the challenges ahead. This 18-year-old kid has really handled the pressure that has come along with his career so well. Calling Antonelli's career path ambitious would be an understatement. Moving directly from Freca to Formula 2 at the tender age of 17 isn't something that just any driver can handle. Most drivers follow a well-trodden path. Formula 4, Formula 3, Formula 2, and then, if they're lucky, Formula 1. So for Mercedes to decide to take Antonelli through the express elevator, skipping the F3 floor entirely, shows how much they trust his abilities. To truly appreciate the scale of this jump, let's break down some numbers. A FRECA car packs about 270 horsepower. Impressive, but nothing compared to the beast that is a Formula 2 car. These machines boast a whopping 640 horsepower. It's not just about raw power though. The aerodynamics are on a whole different level too. To put it in perspective, an F2 car can lap a track like Imola about 12 seconds faster than a FRECA machine. That's not just a step up, it's a quantum leap. Alex Brundle, an F2 commentator, summed it up perfectly when he said moving from FRECA to F2 is like jumping on a Grand National winner after 2 weeks at Pony Club. It's a massive jump in terms of speed, handling, and the sheer physicality required to control these powerful machines. As if the leap to F2 wasn't challenging enough, Antonelli found himself in a pressure cooker right from the start. His team Prema, usually a dominant force in junior categories, was struggling. The results that everyone expected, given all the hype surrounding Antonelli, were hard to come by. But here's where Antonelli's mental strength really shone through. Instead of crumbling under the weight of expectations, he used these challenges as opportunities for growth. He's been refining his racecraft, developing his skills in a tough championship under less than ideal circumstances. In fact, he's handling it better than his teammate Ollie Behrman, another highly rated young driver who's set to join the F1 grid with Haas in 2025. That's why there is so much hype about Antonelli stepping into F1. However, it's important to manage expectations. Let's pause for a moment and consider the enormity of the task ahead. Antonelli will be stepping into the shoes of Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time world champion and arguably the greatest driver in F1 history. The pressure will be immense, the scrutiny relentless. Moreover, while Antonelli's talent is undeniable, he arrives in F1 as an 18-year-old with just 3 seasons of car racing under his belt. Compare this to Lewis Hamilton, who was 22 and had 5 seasons of junior categories behind him when he made his F1 debut. Those extra years of experience and maturity make a significant difference. While Antonelli may well be the next big thing in Formula 1, it's unfair to expect him to match Lewis Hamilton's rookie season. Hamilton arrived in F1 as a more complete driver with years of additional experience under his belt. What we can expect from Antonelli is flashes of brilliance, moments that make us sit up and take notice. There will likely be mistakes too, as there are with any rookie. The key will be how he learns from these experiences and develops over his first few seasons. As we look forward to Antonelli's debut, what are your thoughts? Do you think he's ready for the challenges of F1? Or is Mercedes taking too big a risk with such a young driver? Let us know in the comments below.